Okay, and this is a little bit different. So watch these guys go through it. So they're all in their stances. Okay, I really like this hand placement with the hand sideways to the line of scrimmage. Some guys have their fingers out in front. And again, that goes into that idea of guys just have to find that happy balance of what they can support. But the more sideways they can turn their hands, the more they can crowd the line of scrimmage. Now notice the first movement. So earlier, Coach Bloomgren said in his conversation about a fundamental drive block that we typically want to make contact on step 2. We want to move our feet before contact. And that's actually not the scenario that we want to operate with in short yardage and goal line. So we're actually going to extend our hip completely to initiate contact before we move our hips. So if you see all these guys moving, notice that their hip is going out much like a D lineman would on his initial ball get off, where the hips go out before the feet. And when we're in short yardage goal line, that's our mentality. We're trying to initiate contact right now. I don't need a 3-4 yard drive. I need 1 yard right now on the get off. And so that's why we extend our hip. So it's not a step on the snap. We're going to extend our hip all the way through, and then you'll see us take steps. Okay, the steps are a luxury. Extend the hip, create the separation that we need, and then if you've done that, then we can run our feet through the defender. All right, looking at it on a sled now. Okay, so our guys are loaded, weight back. Okay, now all they have to do is pick those hands up, weight goes forward. Notice that if I pause it on the initial get off, right, both of these guys are in a complete straight line. Okay, no step has been taken yet on their initial contact. Only now will we start to run our feet. Okay, so in this drill, we're only working the initial contact. Once we're fully extended, then we'll start to run or grind our feet through the defender. Okay, again, so our initial movement is that hip extension all the way through that D lineman. All right, now we'll work the same drill from the fit. Okay, so we'll get our shoulders into our defender, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to hook my hand into his arm. Okay, and so what we'll do is you'll see that this is the offensive guy. His arm is going to go underneath mine, and my arm is going to go underneath his armpit and kind of grasp around the back of his tricep. And he's going to do the same for me. And the only reason that we're going to do that is to give ourselves some support. This is kind of a hard thing to drill. We're probably not practicing short yardage goal line a whole bunch during your practice. Okay, so you're going to have to drill this on your own as an offensive line. Okay, and this is a great way to simulate that. Okay, it's so important that we get those arms interlocked. So important that we grab each other's biceps and get low. And that's going to help us stay low during the drive. Now, we've already gotten fit, so now all we're doing at this point is running our feet and extending our hip through the defender. Okay, so we just give the cadence, and we'll engage our hip and run the defender off the line. At this point, it really just becomes a sprint. How much can I displace him? I need to displace him 1 yard. Can I do that right now? All right, so looking at a game clip. I love to watch this clip from the sideline first. So talking about displacement. Okay, so here we are, the whole offense packed in, the whole defense packed in. What can we do? We're all competing. All 22 of us are competing for 1 yard of space. Okay, not a huge margin for error there. But what we know is that we have got to displace the D lineman. Our get off is critical. And so what we can see from our initial get off, watching every lineman, every tight end extend his hip, is that we've pretty much covered all the ground that we need to with our initial get off, right? So if I pause it after everybody's initial get off, we're pretty much all on the 35-yard line. Okay, but now comes the effort. Can we grind our feet? Can we displace the opponent? And we do. So in the situation where we need 1, we ended up getting 2. Can I displace my guy right now? 1 yard. Okay, I want to start with the center and the right guard. Okay, just watching these two guys, watching how low they are, watching how we're not taking steps, but engaging the hip is our initial movement. We're engaging our hip and firing out low. Watch the nose guard. What's his initial movement? His initial movement is vertical. His initial movement is straight up and down. So because he's straight up and down and we're firing out, look at the displacement we get. And because of that, we end up buying 3 guys, right? We take the nose, we take 32, we take 20, all with the body of the nose. Because of the aggressive engagement of the hips, running the feet off the ball. Let's watch this double team right here. Again, no steps are being taken initially. Engaging the hip, driving the D lineman off the ball into the lap of 20, which makes him have to back up. Right? Again, we're all competing for 1 yard of space. The whole defense is compressed down towards the ball. Can we create enough movement there? We've got to fire out low, hard first, grind our feet through it. I think this is a really good block on the backside, watching 63, okay, watching his cutoff block, how he throws his hat across the defender to cut him off and then keeps running his feet. And notice how this shoulder away from the defender, he rolls back on top. And so one thing that I want to point out is that what that will allow us to do is if that guy dive bombs underneath us, or maybe we meet shoulder to shoulder, if I roll my shoulder on top of him, what can he do? He can't get back up. So that's going to keep him on the ground. That's going to make sure that that guy is done with the play. So we're going to try and displace him. If we end up stalemating, I need to make sure that I finish on top. All right, watching another rep here, talking about how grimy, how nasty this can get. Watching the right tackle and the right guard here, okay? Working this combo up. Now, the tackle doesn't get a great fit on this 3 technique, doesn't really need it. But notice that as he works to the second level, he's literally crawling, right? Again, the defenders are going to be compressed towards the line of scrimmage. Everything's going to be really tight. You're not going to have a lot of space to make these blocks work. So it is a whatever it takes mentality. Maybe I throw my hands. Maybe I crawl. Maybe I just get a punch. But notice that in this situation, all he does at the very end is throw his hands on this linebacker, and notice how far back that removes him. Notice how it turns his hips so he can't get engaged in the running back. And then a 3rd and 1 situation becomes a 3-yard gain relatively easily. Okay, watch this backside tight end. Watch how he claws and gets grimy. Just keeps his feet moving, causes this defender to fall late in the down. Again, just doing whatever it takes to make these plays be successful. Finish the play, strain through the play, fire out low.